Hey guys, thought I'd give you a bit of an update on my two-tone blue 84 here in Australia. It's right-hand drive. So yeah, and before you bag me, it's been right-hand drive since 1996. Previous owners did it, not me. Now it can be left as left-hand drive because of its age, but it's already converted, so I'm leaving it the way it is. So steering wheel's off at the moment because I've put a new steering wheel on. Always looks quite nice. She's a bit of a basket case at the moment because I'm in the middle of paint, and doors are off because I'm in the middle of paint, but I'm also in the middle of getting that thing fired up. It's a Dart 434 small block Chev, obviously. DeWitt's radiator. That's the only radiator I'd ever use, to be honest. Even though we've got PWR here in Australia, the DeWitt's one just seems to nail it and tick all the boxes, and it's $100 cheaper landed here in Australia than the PWR radiator. So that DeWitt's radiator landed here is 1,100 Australian dollars. I think you guys pay about $600 for them over in the States, but she's definitely $1,100 landed here and worth every cent, in my opinion. So just getting all the stuff updated on the Vette. I had pulled the cam on it, had another cam in it, a Crow cam, and I pulled that out and put a crane cam in there. Stepped nose job with so I can use the thrust plate. So these Dart SHP blocks have a provision to run factory roller lifter setups, and also the use of a thrust plate, cam thrust plate. So you don't have to use a thrust button or a cam button. So I swapped the retro roller cam over for a crane step nose cam so I can run the plate, because I think that's a better design, and it means that the cam's not pushing on the back of the timing chain cover, which on my application here is aluminium, so I didn't want it sort of rubbing on there, so I pissed it off. I got rid of it. It's got a set of, so the 434 is derived from a 4-inch stroke, 4.155 inch bore. It's got 6-inch Kelly's rods in it. It's running a set of Dart Pro 1 heads. 230cc is the runners, and 72cc combustion chambers. I wanted to bring the compression down, so otherwise it'd be running 13 to 1. So it's probably running about 11.1 to 1 by the calculations. So taking into consideration all the gaskets and everything, blah blah blah. And I'm running a 90mm LS throttle body, running LS3 injectors. They're 65 pounders. They're probably going to be too big. That'll run at 58 psi. You can see I've got the crank handle sort of on there at the moment because I'm setting up the dual sync distributor. So it's got a fast ECU in there. So fast, the part of the comp group, and obviously now the comp group is part of the Edelbrock group. So now it's same. So fast dual sync distributor sort of set up this morning, just sort of tidying all those up. It's got a set of Jessel shaft mount rockers. So those things landed here in Australia. I think you guys pay $1,200 for them in the US. These ones here are $2,300 landed. Yeah, pretty expensive for a shaft mount rocker, but when you look at the quality, you can see the quality, and it just changes it. So once I put those on, I got rid of the OEM hydraulic lifters when I got rid of the other camshaft. When I put the crane cam in, I opted to put in a set of crane link bar retro lifters, roller lifters. It's all hydraulic roller. There's no solid in this, unfortunately, but it just means it's a bit more drivable, and I don't have to set the lash all the time, and I can just enjoy the car. You know, it's not you know, and it's not a drag car. It's not something that, you know, it's going to be on the strip all the time. It's just something that's going to be, you know, just probably a 550 to 600 horsepower toy, street toy, you know, just something to cruise around in and terrorise the neighbourhood. Well, maybe not. A disclaimer on that, maybe not. So looking at that, also got a set of Manly push rods in there. So they're the only ones that had 7.22 inch push rods, and so I've got a set of those in there. Set all the lash, everything's all good. Also running a Tremec TKO 600, and it's been in there that long that now they've got a TKX, but you know, it's this will do. This will handle 600 foot-pounds of torque, so I'm probably at that limit. So we'll see what happens. I've checked all the input shaft and everything, and done all the dial gauges and stuff on that. So yeah, coming along. Radiator's just been dropped in today. I haven't bolted that in. Sealed up around the condenser. Had a 94 model condenser for this car, and I've modified the intake, the inlet and outlet tube on the condenser. So I am going to run AC because it's quite warm here in the tropics of Australia. So it's a DeWitt's dual core radiator, dual core as in tubing size, not in you know, the it's single core dual tubes. So they're inch tubing. I'm also running one of their Spell fan kits, so that's from DeWitt's. So that's just a little bit better over stock. And then also on the front of it, I've changed it to an 85 setup, so I've got auxiliary fans. The good thing about the ECU in the Vet is that I can run dual fans, so that's out of an 85 to 89 Corvette, that sort of shroud there, and obviously made so you can run the air intake filter on that side. The air intake tube is over there. I'm actually going to dump it in front of the radiator because it's too big, so it'll just dump down into there somewhere. Yeah, it's coming along. Inch and 7/8 primaries, just sort of getting with that at the moment. There's style header pattern, so here's the header plates. So we just take that out, so you can see with the style header plate, see with the style header plate, the bolts are offset. So you can see with the heads there, they're already drilled and tapped. So the good thing about the Dart Pro ones is they come with a standard small block Chevy pattern, and then they come with a countersink here and here, which is the same pattern as the style pattern. So what I've done is I've taken the heads in and got them at a machine shop, had them drilled and tapped, and they take, so it's a 7-bolt system, and it allows you to run larger pipes without interruption. So obviously with a small block Chev, the larger the pipe primaries are, the more difficulty you have with header plate bolts. These are only tacked on at this stage. It's just to sort of start the fabrication on the exhaust. So it's inch and 7/8, and I am using the Ice Engine Works header modelling system. So you can see all the blocks down there. That's going to be fantastic because my issue with this Vet is that it's right-hand drive, so it makes it very, very difficult to. And look down this right-hand side here. It's quite tight because obviously there's a booster where there wasn't a booster, and a steering shaft. So if we have a bit of a look down in there, see that steering shaft there? That makes it a bit of a bitch for header placement. So you can't just run a set of long tube headers, standard long tube headers on this. It is a bit of an issue. So what I've opted to do is build a set of long tubes, but have them have them in sections, in like different certain sections, so that we can pull it apart and get the clutch out and, you know, dick around with the starter motor and just, you know, sort of think about it, not just slap in an exhaust system. So the inch and 7/8 will go down into a twin 3-inch system. So it'll have Magnaflow mufflers on it. So this one here is a 12469 muffler, and it's twin 3-inch in and out, and it is an X-pipe in design. So it's internally it's X-pipe. So instead of having the X-pipe that looks like an X-pipe, this is a muffler that sort of more like a resonator. X-pipe design, and then that'll come through underneath the differential and then out to 2 Magnaflows, which I've got over here, 12 198s. So 12 198s here. So single 3-inch in, 2.5 inch out, and it'll have the, obviously it'll have quad, you know, quad tips. Obviously that's the way it sort of goes. Oh, two on one side and 2 on the other. And believe it or not, Magnaflow tips. So believe it or not, the tips were actually dearer than those 2 mufflers put together. So I've got 2 mufflers there, one for either side. Obviously Corvette has 2. So it should sound nice and deep. See that winged oil pan down there? It's a Moroso oil pan, 7.25 inch, so that it doesn't bottom out. So obviously these Corvettes are quite low, and you can't run an 8-inch pan on it, because it'll just, the first stump you come along, it'll just wipe it out. So at least with the 7.25 inch pan, you can get the volume. It takes 7 quarts of oil, but it's a wing design, and it also makes it harder for the headed placement as well. So that's why it's getting a set of custom pipes, and I'll send those in for a ceramic coating and get those back and install that. So I can't really fire this engine until that exhaust is all fabricated up and installed, and obviously the O2 sensors put in, because the ECU is looking for O2 sensor. So I've got the handheld there, shop manual out, always handy for torque settings, especially factory type torque settings around the pulleys and crankshaft bolt. Even though I've got an ARP bolt in there, it's 80 foot-pounds, so no drama. Yeah, so everything's getting there slowly, but yeah, I got sidetracked. I would have been halfway through the exhaust now, but I got sidetracked with the cam swap. I just wasn't happy with the Crow cam, the retro roller. So it's a flat-nosed sort of cam. It's not stepped. So this the cam I'm running is a Crane 109661. I think it's a hot cam. So. And it doesn't have a lot of lift. Duration's probably a little bit wider. It's got 112 degrees lobe set. You need a wider lobe set for EFI, just to maintain a vacuum signal. So the ECU and everything can, it doesn't like you know, too much chop. So you know, and to be honest with you, chopping a camshaft is sort of old school thinking. It's actually detrimental to power creation, believe it or not. So especially when you're looking at all the LS motors, they've got a wide lobe separation, and they run huge power, and it's based on the fact that there is a little bit of scavenging there going on, but the lobe separation's a lot wider. It's less chop. Don't get me wrong though, I like the chop. It sounds pretty good, but not when it's at the, you know, not when it makes, you know, EFI a little bit of an issue. I was never going to run a carb on this setup. It was always going to be EFI, so there's no point going backwards, I think. So, and I think that the carb would have been probably okay, but the EFI just looks cooler. You lift the bonnet up, lift the hood up, and you just see EFI, and you go, yeah man, that looks all right. So anyway, yeah, so getting there slowly. I'll post some more shortly, but hopefully over this Christmas break I'll get into finalise all this stuff, put the valve covers back on, and start fabricating the top and bottom radiator hose, so they'll be solid lines, fabricated up out of some exhaust tubing, and then they'll be sent off for powder coating or HPC coating, and then we're looking at getting the pipes and everything done, getting that sorted out, and then taking those off and getting those HPC coated in the new year. So I'm sort of hoping that probably by the end of March I'll probably have this thing ready to go, because obviously everything closes down over the Christmas period anyway, and not much is happening, and I've still got to fabricate the exhaust, and you know, I don't have 24/7 to do it. I've only got the weekends, so but we're all ready to go. We've got a new TIG here ready to GO, and we've got a new bandsaw and everything ready to cut pipe. All my pipes here, I got it from the States, because none of the boneheads here in Australia could bend it at the radius I needed it. So it's 1 7/8 inch, but it's a 2-inch centerline radius, and it matches those Ice Engine Works header blocks. You've got to sort of make sure that it all matches there, and that way you can just sort of cut it, mark it, and cut it, cut it on the bandsaw. Where is she? Yeah, this is my new bandsaw. So just going to use that to cut on my pipe up. It's all water cooled, good unit. We waited a while for that one, so yeah, happy that that one's there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that's her. She don't look like much at the moment, but it was two-tone blue, and that's what it's going back to, two-tone blue. Originally it was a manual car, so when you do the numbers, there was only 6,000 manual cars that year, and when you do the numbers, there's only roughly 179 two-tone blue manual cars from 1984, and this is one of them. So does it make it worth any more? No, but it's just interesting, something you can sort of brag about when you're having a beer. But yeah, she'll definitely be blue, two-tone blue again. I'll put it back, that's the factory colours, and she'll definitely go back to that. The hood might get modified a little bit though, because it does hit the intake, and not by much. I mean, I might just lift that centre piece up in that centre rib, and the centre piece up probably 1/4 inch, and that'll sort that out. So yeah, so there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. Any comments, leave them, don't leave them, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, always like to hear, you know, feedback, good or bad. If it's bad, you can get stuffed. No, just kidding. Leave it, it doesn't worry me, you know, all to their own. Yeah, having fun with the builds. Cost me a shitload of money, too much money than this car's worth, even here in Australia, but worth every cent. See you guys.